Hi, this is Kevin from Rebuilders.net. Today we're going to talk about three things: regret, guilt, and shame. They all are very similar to most people, but there's actually some very important differences that I want to talk to you about. All right, so let's jump into the first thing. Regret is defined for us as this: I wish I knew then what I know now. So you can learn from the past, that's for sure. But one of the things that's interesting about regret is this: there's always room for regret. You always will learn from things that happen, things that you learn from as you move forward. So a lot of people regret things that happen, and the interesting thing here is that it doesn't matter. You can always regret. So, for example, let's say you go out and you buy a lottery ticket, and you have the option on those lotto tickets to decide, do you want to put a certain amount of money in for a higher multiplier. Well, let's say you decide not to and save the money, and then you win. Well, then you're going to regret that you didn't do the multiplier. So that might be one option. But then let's say you lose, which is probably far more likely. Then you're going to regret that you spent the money on it. You just never know, right? So there's always room for regret in a lot of things. In divorce, we always regret things that, if I had known now what the effect might have been of something I said or something I did, I just regret that I would have known that sooner. Well, you didn't at the time. That's the important thing, is to recognize you didn't know what that was, and to acknowledge yourself for that, and to know that there is no way out of regret. If you knew then what you knew now, you wouldn't have done it, right? But that's regret. All right, so that's one thing. The next one is, let's talk about guilt. So guilt is, I feel bad about my behavior. Now, there's lots of things that we will do in life that we feel guilty about. But when you do something, the important thing about guilt is, what do you do with that? So it's important. Some people will do something where they do something that they feel bad about, and then they turn inward and they beat themselves up about it. I shouldn't have done that. I wish I would have done this. Blah, blah, blah. And that is what's called persecutory guilt, meaning you're persecuting yourself. You are paying the price for your behavior. Now, there's another type of guilt, which is called reparative guilt, which means rather than turning that shame. So shame says there's something wrong with me. We believe that who we are is not okay. It's our identity. We are telling ourselves, this is who I am as a person, and there's something wrong. There is no changing this. This is my life. This is who I am. And what shame is doing is telling ourselves that there is something wrong with me. I'm different than everybody else. That's a powerful place and a very painful place. Fundamentally, what we do is we isolate ourselves. So there are different ways to deal with these three different things of regret, guilt, and shame. Regret and guilt are both things that are kind of short-term or passing in a lot of ways. They are things that we think about ourselves, or things that we process about things we did or we said. But they are part of life. We accept that. Shame is the one that sticks. That's the one that's so hard for people. And what we see is a lot of people that come into our classes, underlying a lot of what they're dealing with is this level of shame. They feel bad about who they are, and they don't want to tell anybody. And then they come into our classes, and just inherently what happens is they come in and they realize, wow, other people feel the same way I do. They think the same way I'm thinking. They have the same emotions that they're trying to process. All of this is very normal. And the only way that happens is by doing something like this and going through it with a group. You can't read this in a book. You can't tell yourself. The only way out of this is by talking with others. So what I'm telling you this is because this is such a powerful thing to understand. Shame, requires a hand from someone else, to be heard, to be seen, to be acknowledged by someone else. You can't do this alone. So please, if you're in this place, if you're going through divorce and you're struggling, one of those things that you can do is simply join one of our workshop classes. 10 weeks, you can work through so many things and have a life you love. So if you want to know more, send an email to support@rebuilders.net and join us. Help yourself get out of this place by doing something that you need to do. If you do nothing different, nothing will change. If you're watching this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for me. Let me know that these are helpful for you and that you're watching. Otherwise, I don't know. So please help me with this. That's all for today. I enjoyed talking to you again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.